during the time that I was incarcerated, there were 3 things that happened with me. Number one, I had a spiritual epiphany. And that recalibrated me. I started looking at my life, and I started looking at the world through a different lens. Number 2, an education passport opened up in my mind, and that was prompted by one of 2 people, John Gotti Jr. and a friend of mine, Herbert Finner. And your listeners very well may say, how can John Gotti Jr. prompt?
John's a bright guy.
Prompt education. When I was incarcerated, I used to walk counterclockwise on the track. I used to walk counterclockwise. And if you know anything about, being in prison, everything is monotonous. You stand up at a certain time, you go to chow.
It's all regimented.
Yeah, everything. So I'm walking counterclockwise against the track. And John saw me one day. He says, hey, Canali. That's what they call me, Canali. He said, Canali, hey, what's going on? I'm like, what's up? He's like, how come I always see you walk counterclockwise? And I said, I'm conditioning myself because when I get home, I have to go against the grain. Because I'm going back to a place that's not necessarily supported by the financial infrastructure that you may be going back to. So he said, we start walking, he started talking. He said, let me ask you a question. He said, when you got busted, he said, what did they take from you? And I said, well, man, they took about $230,000 in cash, and about $80,000 of that was in counterfeit. He said, what else did they take? I said, they took, I had about 2 condominiums. He said, they took some cars? I said, yeah, they took my cars. He said, they took your women too? I said, I got a few still hanging around. I said, I still got a few hanging around, but I got to check in with them in about 6 months. They'll probably be gone. He said, you know what I don't understand about the brothers? I said, what's that? He said, the one thing that they can never take from you is an education. And it was in that moment that something snapped in my mind. And it was that conversation in convergence with another conversation that I had with a person who has since developed me, that I went on to not only earn a bachelor's degree in psychology, nor another bachelor's degree in criminal justice, but I went on to earn my master's degree in clinical counseling. And so the third thing that happened to me is that I realized this. Those who are closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but often furthest from resources and power. Let me say that again. Those who are closest to the problem are closest to the solution, but often furthest from resources and power. And I wanted to be able to bridge that gap. I knew how the system was disproportionately sentencing people. I knew how the system was excessively prosecuting people, and I wanted to be able to change. I wanted to be able to change the system. I wanted to fight the power, and I wanted to do it with absolute everything that I had. So I said to myself, when I get out of here, I'm going to continue the track that I started while I was in. Hence the reason how I landed in the work that I'm in now.
And it's funny. There's not that many people think like you, though. Not that many people think like you.
But now if they think that there's hope, if they think there's something on the other end, and you tell them that while they're incarcerated, you can change people's life. You change one person's life, you're changing 10, 15, the next generation.
That's correct.